Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's TheSketchMonkey here. Now, Hyundai has just revealed the new Santa Fe, and it sure is an interesting design. I can't wait to share my thoughts with you and review this brand new design a little later in this video. But first, let's talk about the spec and tech of the 2021 Santa Fe. Hyundai's flagship SUV offers a range of premium updates and new hybrid and plug-in hybrid powertrains. It will also be the first Hyundai vehicle in Europe to utilize the company's all-new third-generation vehicle platform with improved performance, efficiency, and safety. In addition to this platform is designed for future electric vehicles and even conversions of existing models into electric drive. Hyundai has not yet released a lot of information about these new powertrains for the 2021 Santa Fe, but following the popularity of the Kona electric and hybrid, Hyundai's best-selling subcompact SUV, Hyundai expands its electrified SUV lineup to the flagship SUV, which is the Santa Fe. Of course, it only makes sense to do that. The new Santa Fe is the first Hyundai in Europe to go on sale with the new SmartStream hybrid and plug-in hybrid powertrain. And more information on the Santa Fe powertrain lineup will be released by Hyundai later this year. This refresh of the 2021 Santa Fe is currently only available for the European market and will go on sale there this September, but I'm sure the US launch isn't far behind. The design of the 2021 Santa Fe is pretty refreshing to see in this SUV segment. What Hyundai wants to do here is to combine a ruggedness and sophistication, and this seems to be more the norm than the exception with modern day SUVs. And to up the luxury perception of the new Santa Fe, Hyundai offers an optional luxury trim package which includes exclusive 20-inch wheel design in front and back lower bumpers which match the body paint color that rather than having them be matte black. And inside you'll find a 10.27-inch touchscreen infotainment, and the driver gauge cluster is now all digital with a 12.3-inch display. And for the first time, the new Santa Fe comes with a terrain mode selector, a control knob located in the center console to easily switch between different drive modes. Now, with that said, let's talk about what really matters here. Let's talk about the design. So this is, of course, the rear view of the 2021 Santa Fe, and I have three main things that I want to talk about here. The first thing when I saw this car is that, of course, they had to add the trend of the decade, which is a light bar in between the rear lights. But in this case, though, I don't think it suits this car. It feels like this light bar here was an afterthought, and that it just doesn't blend well here with the rest of the light assembly in the rear. So that is one thing that I want to fix in the redesign or the restyling that I'm going to do of the rear here when we come to that point. Another thing is that we have a second light bar down here, so it's like double light bar action going on here. And this same thing here, I don't feel like that design suits the overall shape of the rest of the bumper. It feels like it's too straight and should have some curvature to it, or should just end here and remove this part in the middle right here to have just two reflexes or whatever it's called on the side of the bumper, and that would be it. And the second thing I want to talk about is the line flow, which I really like of the rear here, because you can see that if we follow the shoulder line here, which is very sharp and very Korean, which we're going to get into later in this video as well, but if we follow this, we see that it goes into the light and then kind of follows the graphics of the taillight and then comes back out from the graphics of the taillight, going down here and into this line right here, and this of course connects at the same way on the other side. And this to me is a very clean, very nice flow to the graphics of this car in general, a little bit less in the front when it comes to the flow of the design, which we're also going to talk about later in this video. Another thing that I really like about the flow here is that you have this ellipse in the rear. So you see this ellipse with curvatures that kind of everything sits inside of this ellipse, and that to me just makes for a nice cut in the rear, and it creates almost like a frame for the rear lights. It looks really cool. And with the ellipse, I mean this part up here, this ducktail right there, and then you have the lower part here, which is almost mirrored that same line. Third thing I want to mention here in the rear of the new Santa Fe is, I talked about this with the BMW X6 as well, and that is the lower part of the bumper. More specifically, the silver diffuser in the bottom there. What I think this does to this car by having it silver, it kind of pulls down the rear car, visually it pulls down the rear of the car to the ground. It pulls it more towards the minivan section and less towards the off-road or SUV section, and it's such a tiny change that if we were to make that black, it would visually make the car look like it sits higher and has a higher ride height. And changes like that I think is very important, specifically in this segment where we have these SUVs that are more like city SUVs. They're never really going to go off-road, but you want them to look like they are capable of doing that. And that's where the importance of graphic design comes in. And having this be the body color or a lighter color and just sitting there alone, not connected to the rest of the body color, that just makes it look a lot lower than it needs to be. So what I'm going to do now with these changes that I talked about, I want to try and see if we can maybe change this design, maybe integrate this light bar a little better in the rear lights, or maybe remove it completely. I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but we're going to find out right now. Alright, so let's talk about the front design of the Santa Fe here and what I like and dislike about this design. First thing, I think it's really cool that Hyundai it feels like they're having fun now. It feels like they're experimenting with their design and coming up with new graphics and styles. And I really like that, and I hope a lot more brands are doing that. BMW is definitely doing that right now. But it looks cool. I also like the graphics in the grille. There's just one thing here that compared to the rear, it doesn't really work as well in the front here, and that is the line flow of the graphic elements in the front. So what I specifically mean by that is, you see this new T-shape here of the LED lights. So we have a lot more vertical lines in this front, which makes it more stately, but I think it could be even more vertical. And I think what I can't help but bother me here is that there is nothing to catch these bars at the bottom here. There's no graphic element in the bottom to catch that design feature, and it's such a strong design feature because it's light. So I want to have something to kind of connect it or meet it down here in the bottom. And to me, the solution for this is pretty simple actually. We have this wing down here. What if we tilt this wing up this way and have it be almost vertical here? So this creates two vertical, almost parallel lines like this. And that also solves the problem that I have with having nothing underneath the lights to have a continuity from the light and then maybe go into the grill or maybe go into this feature right here. So we have that go like this and then connect to the bottom, and then same thing here as well. Another thing that I want to change is to have this light be properly vertical. Right now it sits in a little bit of an angle. What I want to do is have it be straight and then connect to this part of the bumper in the front, and then have that connect to the bottom and just go as it does right now. Because to me, I think vertical lines is the way to go with this new graphic. We have two other lines in the front here that are almost 45 degrees, and that is this line right here and this at the bottom here. So this is almost 45-degree angles here, and I think these two angles are enough for 45-degree angles in the front. The rest, I want to have them be horizontal or vertical, and I think this line right here, this wing that sticks up here and just ends like this, I think this could be used in a better way to have it connect with the strong graphic that is the light down here, and connect maybe into this grill, or maybe we can stretch it down here and go down there. So with that said, let's see how this solution is going to work, because you never really know until you try it. The only way to figure out is to do it. So let's see how it's going to turn out. Last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about the side view here. And this is the view for the new 2021 Santa Fe that I think this is where it shines the most, because I can't see the silver diffuser that is messing up the height of this car visually from the rear. And I can't see the light bar, which doesn't seem to fit in to the rest of the design language of the car. The front here looks a little bit like a Cherokee, but that's fine. It looks cool. And I also like this vertical line here, and inside of this mouth here sits all the graphics in the front. It's a very cool ending on the front end looking at it from the side view. The overall styling of the Santa Fe is very Korean. It's very fluid. It's almost organic, which is okay. There's no problem with that. I also like these fenders here that they're stylized like this. It's typical Korean, and it works because it has a nice flow to it. Everything seems to be connected in one way or another. Generally, I think this is a very exciting design because, as I said, it feels like Hyundai is now having a lot of fun in their design department. And I've said it before, if I were to work as a designer with some company, I think Hyundai would be a really cool company to work with right now. And Kia as well. They're also having some fun with their new car designs. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.